Just say, first thing you got to do is ask people to come round. That's what we want to talk about. Find out their name.
Do you want to come round? Come and have a sit down. We're just talking about anything you want. Come on. Come round. Gather round. So we've got Will, Mikey, Nelly. Nah.
Libby?
What's your name again?
Livy.
Start with a round of names, Michael. Get names of everybody.
Right. What's your name?
Rosa.
Hello, Rosa.
Annabelle.
Hello.
Sky.
That's a nice name.
Herbie.
Hello. Rowena. Thank you.
Alexander.
That's a nice name. Okay.
So what should we talk about then?
Well, does somebody want to start off with something that they want to say?
So me and Mikey have just jumped out in the middle because we're quite hungry. So anybody got any recommendations on what we should go and get to eat?
Right, so I've got a recommendation.
You can't. We're in the middle now.
I know, but I just want to...
You've got to. If you want to make a recommendation, you've got to.
Right.
You've got to get a recommendation.
Nah. Right. What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is the pizza up at the top with the lighting letters.
What's the best pizza to get?
Either margarita or pepperoni.
Okay. Anybody else got any recommendations for the food?
Oh, I've got another one.
Okay. Right. Right. Come on. Come and have a sit down.
Whose court is this? Oh, it's my friend. She's just going to
It,
I'll pop a picture around for you, Libby.
Alright. So what's your name? Anne. Hello, Anne. Right, so. Right, so she has a recommendation?
I would recommend Gandhi's flip-flop, although it's very hot.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep, that's a curry place.
I've got to ask. That name really intrigued me when I saw it. So is it Indian food, Gandhi's flip-flop?
It is English. I don't like feedback. It is Indian food, yes.
That's not you, it's me.
It's really, really hot. Really hot. Yesterday, the beetroot one was a bit of a killer.
Really? Beetroot?
Right. Anybody else got recommendations? Oh.
I was going to say Gandhi's flip-flop is
Alright.
really nice.
So Gandhi's flip-flop seems to be the most popular so far. What about you?
The mac and cheese.
I've seen that place.
What was it?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Maybe what did you have for your lunch?
Chips. Chips.
Where did you get
Where did you get them from?
Chip shop.
the fish and chip van?
Oh yeah, I went there yesterday.
The fish fingers.
Fish Finger Heaven?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good place, that. And
I think I might go with the chips recommendation. I fancy some chips and ketchup. What I hate though is when they give you the little sachets of ketchup. I don't know if you can relate to this. I think they should just have a giant tub of ketchup so you can drown your chips in ketchup.
I believe that there actually is a big tub of ketchup to drown your chips in.
You're not giving information. Get it from the outside of the table. Ask the chip guy if there's a big tub of ketchup.
There is a big pump square bottle.
Yeah, no.
That's good.
Get the mic in there. Ask him.
Did you like the chips there?
Yep.
It could be a more expansive question, like it could be like, what is good about the chips? Maybe you could ask, or like, what's good about the mac and cheese? There were some issues about the food. Is the food too expensive? That's another question. Maybe we could ask around the table. Should it be cheaper for kids? That's how we started off this whole Talkaoke yesterday.
Right. Who recommended the mac and cheese? So what do they sell there?
They sell like a kids deal, and then they just spell mac and cheese basically.
Right. So a kids deal. So is the kids deal expensive?
It's £7 for an apple.
That's pretty expensive. Is there any other places that you know that's very expensive?
The Gandhi's flip-flop is a bit of a rip-off because like all the food, it's like not based on children. It's really hot too.
Yeah, my mum did say they was pretty hot. Well, Anne did.
Hot food, I don't know if it's just me, but everything seems to be getting a lot hotter lately in the cuisine. Like, you got like sriracha sauce and all that's coming out, it's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Like, is that something that's just changed, or is that just me sort of spotting something that maybe doesn't exist?
Well, maybe we should ask who around the table likes hot food around the table. There's quite a few hot lovers, so maybe you're following the trend.
What kind of hot food do you like?
Spicy curries.
Okay. What kind of spicy food do you like?
I like, chili, like mince.
Chili?
Yeah.
Alright. Do you like spicy food?
Yeah.
Like what kind of food do you like?
I like vegetable samosas.
That sounds nice. Do you like spicy food?
Not really.
Alright. Do you like spicy food?
I do, yeah.
What kind of spicy food do you like?
Mexican is good. I like a bit of Mexican.
I usually go for Indian food.
Indian food.
I just want to ask, let's take this a bit deeper. Why do people like food that's spicy? Why do they like to have food that burns you? I mean, it's kind of like hot, it's painful in a way. It's a bit like the conversation we were having yesterday when we were asking, why do people like crying in films? Why eat a food that's actually causing you pain?
Yes.
It puts you through like loads of emotions.
That's a good answer.
I like it because it makes you when you eat spicy food, it makes you want to have something really nice and sweet, something like that. It's if you've been to a country that has spicy food, like Mexico, when you eat it, you'll feel like you're back in that place, like when you were relaxed and happy. Well,
that's a good answer. Anybody else got any opinions on why people eat spicy food? Alright.
because they like it.
That's one of the key reasons. Come on, have a sit down. Come on, there's loads of free seats. Come on, have a sit down. Right. So, what's your name?
Hannah. I'm Ellie.
Alright. Do you want to grab a chair? There's one here. Alright, are you leaving? Alright, do you want a final thought?
I still think the Gandhi's flip-flop, or maybe nachos.
Nachos is a new one. Right. So, what did you say your name was again?
Ellie.
Hello, Ellie. That's a nice name. I like your paint as well. Right, so we're basically just talking right now about why people eat spicy and Indian food. And well, just spicy food. Well, spicy Indian, Mexican, whatever spicy food. What do you think your opinion is on why people eat spicy food?
I don't like spicy food, so I don't really know why.
Okay. What about you? You haven't spoken much yet.
Yeah, I love spicy food. I like harissa. Have you heard of that? It's like I think it's from the Middle East. It's like chilies with oil and tomato.
Do you have an opinion on why people eat spicy food?
I think it maybe enhances the flavour. You know, you got the lovely chicken flavour and sauce, and then with a bit of heat, it kind of almost pushes the flavour forward.
That's a good answer. Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, Michael, earlier when we were talking about virtual reality. Is it kind of like a virtual reality, eating spicy food? Like a spicy, it's almost like a fire in your mouth. It's like almost the virtual reality of being in a fire, eating spicy food.
Does anybody have any responses to that? Yes.
I think it is. Sorry. I think the fact that it could be virtual reality, because when you hear that it's spicy, you automatically make it feel more spicy almost, if you know what I mean.
That's a good answer. Yes, I've forgotten your name.
Linking to that, when you see those magicians who breathe fire and they say that it burns their throat, so then you feel like you're doing that when you're eating spicy food.
So that's a good question to move on to. When magicians do fire eating, does it actually hurt them?
Yeah. I just don't like being fire. I'll either eat something really bad than dying. So I got fire.
Alright. Anybody have any other answers to that question? Yes.
I think that it would have to hurt their throat, otherwise it wouldn't be a magic trick.
Yeah, but if it hurts the throat, then why would they want to do that constantly? Like, oh, yes?
To impress others.
That's a good answer. Yes.
Maybe people are eating spicy food to impress others as well. Maybe it's the same thing, that they're burning their throats just to show off how spicy a food they can eat.
Yeah, after saying that, but does that mean that they're actually like impressing people? Because like they could eat the same curry and like impress them, but would they actually be impressed because you're eating something really spicy? Like, because you could eat something spicy every day.
Some people don't like spicy food, so if you're trying to impress another person, the person could be like, ew, why are you eating that? It's so spicy. And then you who ate it, trying to think that you would impress others, you just kind of put yourself in a painful set when you could have done it without impressing your friends.
That's a good answer. Come and have a sit down, there's loads of free spaces.
I'm talking about all this spicy food. We're going to actually have to harvest some final thoughts, because we're going to have to close this down and get some food. And I think, you know, some of the supporters from the cheap seats over there in the background, also their mouths are watering too. So we just need to get some final thoughts on the mystery, the enigma of the spicy food, why it's so popular. Let's just get some final thoughts, and maybe then we'll pack up and get. I'm going to get chips with the chili sauce. But let's just get some final thoughts on this one. Well done, Michael. Great. Let's give Michael a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. So everybody wants. So who wants to say the final thought first? All right.
Spicy food is good.
That's a great final thought. What about you?
That you don't need to impress others by doing something that looks cool. You can just do it by being yourself.
That's a good point.
It's disgusting.
I wish I could say I wish I could agree with that, but I don't, because it is actually quite delicious.
You would die.
Oh, I wouldn't say you would die, but still.
Spicy.
Spicy. What's your final thought?
I think it's good to get outside your comfort zone with food.
That's good.
We're going to stop.
All right. So we're wrapping it up now. Right. Okay.
I like that. I like this idea of getting outside your comfort zone. I think everything that is important to you is outside of your comfort zone, even if it is chicken madras or something like that. You are going outside of your comfort zone, perhaps, and that's maybe why. Maybe that's the enigma of the spicy food. Have you got a final thought, Will?
Yeah, but it's not about food. I think I've been inspired by Michael and his dad on the matching shirts. I think we should get matching shirts for Talkaoke. I think it's the way forward. Yeah, see, agreement over there. I think matching shirts, and I think we should get Ruby on this as well. Just because you're in the background doesn't mean you can't have a matching shirt as well. I think we'd look fantastic. But yeah, that's my final thought.
Okay. Maybe we should all get Vindaloo shirts or something like that. Okay, Michael, have you got a final thought?
How do you find it being in the middle?
It's good. I like the nice chair. If we go back, I think I'd be a good host to start it off again, because I'd probably do a good intro.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
This is Talkaoke. You've been great.
This is Talkaoke. You've all been great. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Go to the loo.
How about we do?
Yeah, okay.
You do our style, right?
Yeah.
Jump in.
Alright, okay. So
2 hours again this time.
Alright, so anyway, this is Talkaoke. Come and have a seat, we're just about to start. Let's all of you come and get involved. This is Talkaoke. This is your chance to be on the show. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're just starting up. Ruby, have you turned on this telly over here? Is that one on? Does it run out of batteries? Does it need a new battery? Maybe. I think probably. Okay, so let's get some names. My name's Mikey. What's your name?
Johnny.
Johnny. Yeah?
Yes.
Come and get involved. What's your name?
Paul.
Come a bit closer, Paul. This is electrically tested. It's all safe. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. So we've got Johnny. We've got Paul. What's your name?
Captain X.
Captain X. Okay, and
Annabelle.
Annabelle. Yeah. What's your name?
Matilda.
And what's your name? Come sit down. Come get involved. Come support. What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. And at the back, come further forward. What's your name?
Jodie.
And Ruby. Okay, so that and who have we got?
Terence.
Terence. So the whole point of Talkaoke is kind of up to you to decide what you want to talk about. It could be absolutely anything. Have you changed the battery there? Yeah, okay, with some technical issues. Oh, there we go. I think you've just got to squeeze the little cigarette lighter thing together a little bit, because I think it's just a little bit loose. There you go, yeah, that's it. There we go. And we're on. Hit the on button. That's the one, yep. Hit it. Yeah, we go, that's it. Okay. Right, so come and have a seat around the table of chat. We're just starting up. We felt the force, so we started a little bit early. Come and get involved in this. What do people want to talk about? Where do you want to go? And I feel we're sort of unbalanced. It's a bit like the ship is all on this side, you know. Does anyone want to sit around this side of the table?
I'll sit round. Can we talk about Fortnite?
Okay, it's one suggestion. Fortnite. Has anyone got any other suggestions about?
I got a suggestion.
What?
Fortnite's bad.
Fortnite's bad. Okay. Any other suggestions? Anything?
PUBG is better than Fortnite.
What? What?
PUBG is better than Fortnite.
What is PUBG? Is it kind of pub?
It's like Fortnite, but you can't build, but you can have cars and stuff.
Okay. Is there a pub involved in it?
No, it's just
Sounds better.
It's just the game creators were drunk when they made the name.
Oh really? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then maybe we could roll that in. Are you more creative when you're drunk? Yeah.
Yes, of course. Why are games so amazing?
Okay, why are games amazing? Why are games so amazing?
They're not. They are. They're so well made these days that they consume children. And like Max says, you know, he doesn't go to the toilet on time because his brain's stuck in the game.
Right, okay, so the computer game is so powerful that actually it curtails bodily functions. Don't it?
I think children spend far too long playing games.
Yeah. What should they be doing instead?
They should be watching Thomas the Tank Engine.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I've got a suggestion. Okay, there's a story about this kid who lost a game of Fortnite and apparently punched his screen. That's how controlled they get by some games.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think that are these games too powerful? Do you think, Terence?
Well, they should. Well, most people I know, they just go home from school and just play this Fortnite game.
Yeah. Is it sucking the minds of the youth? Fortnite? You say yes?
I think that, you know, the minute they get frustrated, they get annoyed with each other, they get angry, they get upset, but they want to do it. But then when we ban it and say that's enough, and they go upstairs and start using their imaginations, they always are happier children.
Okay.
So I don't think it's good, to be honest.
Okay. Is it sucking your imagination?
Yeah. Well, when I won a game of Minecraft once mini games battle, I threw my controller into the telly and it broke.
Okay.
That was an accident, you said.
Okay.
It slipped out my hand. It was an accident. It was an accident. It slipped out my hand. I was sweaty.
Okay, Paul, what are we going to say?
I don't know.
Oh, we've got a wasp. We've got a wasp.
Okay, it's alright.
Wasp wants to get involved with the orange microphone.
Are kids as any more emotionally detached from reality today than they were back 30 years ago when they were running around with AK-47 plastic guns?
Okay, is it any different from the plastic guns of Paul's youth? What do people think?
That was before my time. I can't.
Toy guns are they're not as well. They are dangerous because they can hit someone in the eye.
Yeah.
But like Fortnite isn't like. Because it isn't dangerous because it's not actually like physical. It's
okay, so you think it's less dangerous to be playing on a computer?
Guns on it.
Okay, is it dangerous? Is Fortnite dangerous? Come and get involved. Look, we've got spare seats over there. You're way too for coming. Let's give this person a round of applause because they need some peer pressure to come and sit down. Yeah.
I got an idea why Fortnite's bad.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah.
If you're a teenager, you might go silly and thinking shooting might be fun in real life, so then they go off with guns and start shooting people.
Is it encouraging teenagers to actually use real guns?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yes, it is.
What's your name?
Max.
Max is suggesting that possibly.
Well, and I love Fortnite.
Okay. Would you ever grab a real gun and go on a rampage?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I think Max. I think that's a point there. We're talking about Fortnite. There's a few worries about this game. Are you familiar with the game? Are you familiar with Fortnite? It's a computer game that a lot of the kids are playing, but there's a complaint that come and have a seat. Don't worry about cameras and stuff like that. Just ignore them. Is it sucking the kids' imagination? Is it encouraging them to go out on the rampage with real guns? That's what we're saying. Yeah.
I would say probably no.
Yeah.
Some of the younger people here might know Mario.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who eats mushrooms?
Yeah.
Mario Kart, yeah.
Yeah.
He eats mushrooms to get strength.
Yeah.
I played Mario loads. Can't stand mushrooms. Don't eat them.
Were you encouraged to at least eat one mushroom?
I have eaten mushrooms in the past. I never inhaled them.
Okay. Did you eat the mushrooms before or after playing Mario?
Certainly not during.
Okay.
I have eaten mushrooms before and after. Still don't like them.
Okay. Okay. So don't.
This card so I can watch it on YouTube.
This is the People Speak. We've run out of cards, so we've got our old cards from the noughties. The only ones we've got left. Well, just search for Talkaoke at Deer Shed. You'll find it on our.
Because I want to watch me.
Okay, it's going to be session 3, day 2. Okay, so we're talking about. Is it dangerous? Is it just as dangerous as playing Super Mario? Did that encourage young children to take mushrooms or to jump over wheels?
Gang culture. When I was young, gang culture involved catching bees with your pals or stealing dust camps and playing Champ Door Runaway. You didn't have to kill anybody to be it may very well be, but nobody.
So you're saying the level of crime has gone up?
I think I think the level of crime has gone down because children
they're committing crimes online, kind of thing.
No, they're spending too much time on their game consoles and not committing decent crimes.
Okay, should be out there committing minor felonies out there.
I think everything should be in moderation, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They have to be technical. They have to be able to have these skills to be on these games nowadays. They have to be.
So what would be a moderate amount of Fortnite, as far as you're concerned?
Well, probably do like 1 to 2 hours a day. That's
1 to 2 hours a day.
A lot of time, though, isn't it, when you think about it?
Is that too much? One hour?
Yeah. I think it should be 10 years every 10 years.
A 10-year stint of Fortnite. Okay, a 10 stretch. Okay. I mean, do you think you could get away if you somehow had food kind of somehow intravenously pumped into you? Do you think you could play Fortnite for a continual 10-year stretch without doing anything else?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You'll get bored of it.
After how long would you say?
About 6 days of constantly playing
it. You think the limit? What is the limit for playing Fortnite? Is it
2 seconds?
6 days? Okay.
Last night playing it.
What's that?
I got addicted last night playing it. To be fair. I got my first kill last night, and then I got my second in the same game. Oh, it was awesome. He didn't know I was there. He sort of, I clocked him from a tower, and he didn't. But it was obviously a noob. It was a new name, a noob, which is what they call new player. And it's the kids, down with the kids. Yeah, I like noob. So I'm down with the kids.
So you virtually killed someone, and it felt great.
3 people, and then another guy built a tower around me and blew me up. So I really did not know what was happening then.
Okay, so this is where we are at. This is what's going on with our young people.
That's my husband. So I've got 2 children playing it, and when they go to bed, he sat down last night playing it. So I said, I'm off to bed.
Okay.
That's as good as it gets.
Are you worried that your whole family's getting sucked into this game?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I'm just going to take myself off and do some things that I like doing.
Okay, so it's actually, it could be a sense of freedom. It's just some coffee. Okay, right. Okay. Let me just. I've got to do my job and do a little bit of a sum up. This is Talkaoke. We've got 1 free seat at the moment. We're talking about the phenomenon of Fortnite? Is it taking our kids away? Is it giving them vital skills? What is the required moderate amount of time? Is it 1 hour, 6 days, or 10 years?
10 years. I think, and like when my sister gets back from school, she normally has her phone, she plays, or her iPad, and I think maybe like half an hour, because
half an hour would be
then you also get to spend time with your family.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, you're saying that, Rachel, that you actually appreciate that time off that you get when everyone's kind of sucked into.
A little bit, just so I can get the bits and pieces done. But you know, at the same time, I don't like too much of it.
Let me get a final thought. Sorry, Rachel. Let me get a final thought from you. Are we getting sucked into something that we can't control?
Yes, we are. We're getting something to eat.
Yeah. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Max.
Yeah, I think that when I see my daughter play, she could be on there for hours, and it's just killing time. Fortnite with his daughter.
Okay. Right.
So I know in 2 different towns about half an hour away, and they're playing Fortnite, and they just kill time.
Yeah, are they killing people as well? Because
they're killing people, time, each other most of the time as well.
Okay. I mean, what does that say? Why are we so obsessed with killing and being killed? What's that about?
I think to take out your anger.
It takes out your anger. Yeah. Come a bit
Years
closer.
ago, we used to have cowboys and Indians. They killed each other. Before that, we had World War II programs, World War I programs.
Yeah.
It's always been about that. Now all of a sudden there's criticism towards kids because it's kill, kill, kill. It isn't. Nowadays they're killing a cartoon character rather than a real person on telly that they're watching. As in like.
Okay, so it's actually a better kind of killing.
Truth, yeah. It's a game. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not reality.
Yeah.
It appeals to the basest of instincts.
Yeah.
And should we ignore that?
Okay, so are we ignoring our basic instincts at our peril?
Well, this is something different. It's because I get frustrated of never getting victory royales except for the mode 50v50.
Okay, I'm not really sure what that means, but someone could explain. Come and hang on a second. I'm just doing another sum up and invitation. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. At the moment, we're talking about the phenomenon of Fortnite. Is it something that is actually sucking the minds of our children, taking family members away forever? Is it actually just the same old cowboys and Indians that the old people used to play? Is it just no different? It's just a bit more. It's a bit more sophisticated now. That's what we're talking about right now. What's a good amount of time to be playing it? Is it stimulating our imagination? These are some of the questions.
Games are basically made to kind of keep the audience coming back.
Yeah.
Like keep them looking at the screen for as long as possible because it's making the software developers and
so it's designed
people
to be
money.
addictive.
That is all it's doing. Yeah, it's addictive basically.
Okay. All right.
And that's what it's done.
Okay. And what about cowboys and Indians? Was that designed to be addictive?
It was made to be rubbish.
Okay.
It's based on history, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that
It's based
sorry?
on history. It's based on history.
It's naturally addictive. That's
Okay.
why games evolved the way they do.
Okay, so old school games are also addictive. They're just naturally addictive. I might, because I wasn't actually even supposed to be in the middle here. I just went in under peer pressure. I'm just warming up for Will. So let's give Will. Okay. So we're going to keep this conversation going because it's a vital conversation. Is Fortnite sucking the minds of our young people? Even fathers are getting involved in this. We're going to keep this going. Why don't you jump in? Yeah, why don't you jump in? Jump in at the same time, and I will mic you. Yeah, we're gonna go for both.
This is the smoothest swap you're ever going to see.
Okay, here we go. Over to you, Will.
I mean, okay, so Fortnite. Okay, I didn't think. Do you know what? I'm surprised. Where did everyone come from? It came out of nowhere, didn't it? This is the power of Deershed, isn't it? People heard the word Fortnite and were like, I've got to get involved with this. Alright, so what are we thinking then? Oh, look at this is professional, look how smooth this is. It's like we've almost rehearsed it, isn't it, Mikey?
We've never rehearsed it.
We've never rehearsed it, but we may as well have done. So what are we thinking then, people? Fortnite is, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I mean, when it all started with Pong, did we think we were going to end up at Fortnite? Is this where we thought we'd go to? You've always wanted to be on YouTube.
We are on YouTube.
Is that why people play Fortnite? Do we think we play Fortnite?
So I can watch on YouTube.
Okay. First of all, alright, we've got lots of people, alright, so it's going to take a long time to do names, but tell you what we're going to do, just to introduce that everyone know what this is. This is Talkaoke, my name's Will, that's Mikey, we've got Ruby on camera. At the minute we're talking about Fortnite, guys, alright? We're talking about games. So, is that something that people play? Is that something people want to carry on playing? Why do we play this game?
Because it's
Why is that? Yeah.
Because it's naturally addictive.
It's naturally addictive. Why do we think this is addictive? Yeah.
Okay, so it gives some people that play Fortnite like to do things that they can't do on the outside world, because the only good world they've got left is their virtual world. If they've got no virtual world, i.e. Fortnite, and they've got no good world, then what have they got to do?
But why is it something like Fortnite? Why is it something like Fortnite, not something like, I think Mario was mentioned before. Why is it Fortnite and not Mario? You seem quite passionate. What was your name again, my friend?
My name's Phil.
Phil, why Mario and not Fortnite, Phil?
Well, there's other games as well, isn't there? There's more constructive games where you build things.
Like Minecraft,
Sims, things like that. Things where you're doing positive things.
So why do we think we've transitioned from something like Lego over to something like Minecraft now? Yeah.
Well, I think violent video games are more addictive because of the natural human interest in violence and killing, down from back when we were cavemen, like fighting to survive.
So we're going back far.
No, it's basically just down to people being like basic human beings and like not like down to people's basic desires.
Do we think there's anything else apart from violence that is that sort of human instinct that we could get into video games? Well, we're gonna whoa. Okay. Now, it is important at Talkaoke not only to get your voice heard, but to listen to others' voices, alright? That's what it's about. It's about giving and receiving, So we're going to come to the back there to my friend, yeah. I see you at the back. I didn't miss you out. What are you thinking, my friend, at the back there?
The reason everyone's
Grab the mic, take the mic. You take it off me. I'm just a man in the middle. Tell me what you think.
The reason everyone's still playing is because they're adding and adding and adding. The more they add, the more people they get, and that's what they want. Okay. They're adding it to mobile, like phones and tablets.
Right, so you think adding to mobile has just made more people want to play it, alright? We're going to come over to Will first of all.
I think they've done it, they've marketed Fortnite to a very kind of impressionable demographic, so I'm seeing here, it's mostly like younger kids. And none of us play Fortnite, but they've done it in a way so it's like more attractive to them.
But we had some adults at the table earlier on that were like, as soon as the kids go to bed, whack out a bit of Fortnite, make sure we kill a couple of people. So we're going to come here. You had no idea before, buddy?
Killing people is not good. If I got a shotgun in real life or Fortnite, a legendary too, I would be shot in the. I'd shoot myself in the face.
So do you think it makes people want to go and get these shotguns in real life and want to play with them?
They're banned in our country.
They're banned. Okay.
Why do you want to play Fortnite? What's so addictive about it? It's just walking around shooting people, building walls.
Okay, well, do you know what? We have a little thing we do.
Even though I like it, I don't get why I like it though.
You don't get. Well, why? I'm going to turn it back on you. Why do you think people like to play Fortnite?
Because people like killing each other.
That's it. Well, no, we've got some people over here. I'm going to switch it over here. Yeah.
I think people like playing Fortnite because you can do things that you can't do in real life.
Right. What sort of things do you think you can do in Fortnite that you might not be able to do?
Shoot people.
Shoot people. So, but why then? Why is Fortnite the only game that you can shoot people in?
No, but then one person plays it, says it's really good, so it spreads quickly because they say it's really good.
Sort of saying what Will was saying. Okay, going in sort of like one person gets that traction, and more aiming at that demographic of young people. Gonna come here, there, and then over here. Yeah.
Fortnite is addicting because it's well advertised and impressionable to young kids.
It's impressionable. Now I'm getting a little bit tangled, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to lift that up. Look at that, and we're out again. Good stuff. We're going to come here, pal. Yeah.
Okay, so in Fortnite, the thing people likes is like it doesn't matter who you are. You're the same player as everyone, because some people might be different than other people. So then they just want to play the same game and be the same as them.
Right, okay, so it's maybe about more inclusivity than just killing people. Go to Mikey just about there, yeah.
What I worry about is the kids' imagination, because they're not really, unlike Minecraft where you make your own world, or some of the other ones like Sims or Second Life. Probably don't know that one. But you invent things. And I think in Fortnite it's just about running and hiding, and, as far as I know, and killing. You don't actually build anything and make anything new. You do. Oh, okay. Whoa.
Somebody. Now, Mikey, you've made my job very difficult here. You've dropped a truth bomb and everyone's exploded. Okay, so somebody explain to Mikey what you can build in Fortnite then. Yeah.
I've never played it, but I think you can build like houses at no, I've seen people play it though. You can build like walls and like ramps and other things.
So maybe then it's like building. Maybe the key to success is not just killing people, but adding other stuff like building it.
But they're only there to protect yourself from people killing you.
Right. Okay. So there's a new meaning to it. It's like interesting. So many hands. Where are we gonna go? Whoa. Remember, guys. It's about talking and receiving. That's the important part there. We're gonna come just here, Pa. Yeah.
Well, there's a mode on Fortnite where
ice cream's taking the attention there. Yeah.
So when there's a mode on Fortnite that isn't out anymore, well, it might be coming back. Playground. Yes, Playground. That there was barely anyone to kill you, or sometimes there's none. And even if you die from fall damage, you still respawn. But you can build it's easier to get resources, and you can build loads of cool stuff.
And now, before we go, guys, I'd like you to stand up. We want to get a final thought before you leave us. We're going to get 4 final thoughts. We're going to come to you in a second, my friend. We'll get some final thoughts. Will, what are you saying?
Yeah, we're coming back, but don't spend all your life on Fortnite, kids. It's not worth it. Genuinely.
Strong message there from Will. Final thought?
Get a life, because games aren't real.
Oh, interesting, controversial.
Keep doing your homework.
Okay. Into the homework. Right, we'll get your final thought.
Work hard at school.
Whoa. We're going to go to Mikey first, yeah.
I just want to ask I think it's Liz over there, but she said get a life, but what does that really mean, get a life? And what is a life? Is not playing Fortnite a life in itself? Yeah. That this man over here wants to play Fortnite for the next 10 years.
Right.
Isn't that a life?
This is getting interesting now, guys. Just to let you know, there are seats available. You don't have to stand. Come sit down. Come relax. All right. So, does it mean, is it a life to play video games for the rest of your life?
So, what she means is you got 2 lives. You got your virtual life, then you got your real life. So, in your virtual life, that's Fortnite and computer stuff. So, she means get a life as in getting real life, not a life full in but just make more of your life in your real life, not in your virtual life. That's what she's trying to say.
Now, Phil, you thought you could sneak away. This is why we're working teams of 2. So someone can watch my back at all times, Phil. Final thought before you go.
Get a life, get a sport in life, get a bike, ride a bike, get healthy, get active, think while you're out on your bike. And I'd agree with that young lady earlier. Do your homework.
Amazing. Phil, thank you so much for going. Round of applause for Phil. You've been absolutely fantastic. So what are we thinking? Yeah, of course you can, my friend. Come sit down. You can, but you've got to take a seat first. Come take a seat. Come take a seat, and then you can have your say, my friends. Here we go. Look at that. You get service. Chair pulled out for you. That's how we rock at Talkaoke.
That's what I call service. Thank you. With the man with the fantastically flowered shirt on.
I know.
I love it as well.
My shirt game up. I'm not to compete with Mikey.
Yours isn't as good as his.
I know. I was saying we should get matching ones.
Very Hawaiian. Is he a Honolulu man? Is that another conversation? Anyway, we were talking about homework. Homework's great. I think the problem with our country is, and an awful lot of countries nowadays, too much pressure on kids. Right, the kids are expected to produce everything nowadays. Right, I remember when I was a kid growing up, right, we were expected by a certain age, 9 years old my oldest boy is, and there's massive pressure on them to be able to do things now. And I'm not being funny, it's not until I left school that I decided what I wanted to do and you do well with yourself. But I'll tell you something, there's nothing wrong with computer games, there's nothing wrong with playing, there's nothing wrong with having sport, there's nothing wrong with, everybody criticises something. Do you know what? If kids enjoy it, let them enjoy it. But the only thing I will say is have a bit of variety. Do a bit of sport, do a bit of something, do a bit of something else, but enjoy your computer games. Good on you. Because you know what? Nowadays, there are degrees in it. So
you know what? We'll come back to that. I want to get a final thought because I can see you're about to go, but let's get a final thought from you, my friends.
Well, basically, do all the stuff they say, like do your homework, get a bike, ride your bike, but then you can play Fortnite, so you do have time to do it, just don't do everything else.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Well, what? Thank you so much for coming over. Hopefully, I wish you luck on your 10-year escapade to play Fortnite, alright? But, I want to throw out, do we think we should change the national curriculum then? Like, make homework include playing computer games, maybe? We're going to come there in a sec, we're going to come to the back. Just over here, to these fantastic goggles at the back.
Basically, games, Fortnite, that you hear all these stories on the news of like kids stealing their parents' credit cards to like buy stuff for Fortnite, but it's only because Fortnite are over advertising what they're doing and over advertising the game and trying to make it more appealing for just kids.
Okay, so you think they're sort of manipulating young people into maybe doing things like steal credit cards to get the access to those things on the game? Alright, okay. Oh, there's a bit of a disagreement there. We've got an opinion.
I agree, completely agree, but it's but what a horrible thing. Horrible, the capitalist computer game makers creating this battle royale scenario that ekes away parents' money. It's a terrible thing.
We're going to go there. We're going to come to Mikey.
Just because I'm intrigued, I wonder what like a socialist or a communist computer game or an anarchist computer. What would a socialist computer game look like? Could we design one here? Would there be no killing? Would it just be like collectivizing the assets and like sharing the means of production? How would it work? How would a socialist computer game? I just want to know. Yeah, maybe it could be a new format for us.
What do you think? Whoa, we're going to come there. We'll come here first. What? All right. Let's take a pause. Killing fascists.
Perhaps the socialist computer game might be rounding up the capitalists and shooting them. So you'd have mass slaughter rather than individual slaughter.
So maybe putting all of the capitalists in a Fortnite situation and seeing what happens. Is that what it is? A lot of people agree. No, we're coming here. You waited a long time. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a game a lot like that called GTA. That is the game that he's talking about.
No, they've already made it. That's what he's basically saying. They've already made the game.
We've missed our business venture, Mikey. That's it. It's gone. GTA. They've already done it.
GTA is a capitalist game, I'd argue, because it's all about getting loads and loads of money and buying expensive things. That's quite capitalist.
All right. We'll say that one more time for me.
What's wrong with capitalism?
Do you know what? We have a little thing we do at Talkaoke where we turn the mirror back on you. So what is wrong with capitalism? I'm going to take it back to you.
No, I'm asking you.
You're asking me. I'm just the man with a mic. That's not my job. I'm just here to hear you guys. All right, let's come here.
In a capitalist system, there always has to be poor people for some people to be rich.
Oh.
Can I put another spin on that? If there wasn't rich people, poor people wouldn't have a job.
Interesting. Do we agree? All right, let's come here. Yeah.
What if your homework was playing Fortnite?
So what?
What are you learning?
Dude, no, we've got lots going on here.
You're missing the.
We're gonna come in. Whoa, we want.
I just want to say that in a socialist utopia, your homework will be playing Fortnite. So encourage your parents, to vote for Jeremy Corbyn, because Jeremy Corbyn will change the curriculum and he will make playing Fortnite a compulsory part of the curriculum.
Okay. We're getting a bit of a Go versus Corbyn mixing it with Fortnite right now. We're going to come here, yeah.
I would have voted for Jeremy. I would have voted for Jeremy Corbyn until I heard that.
Oh, watch that drink just there. Don't worry, it happens. That's all right. We'll pop that. That's through there, just here, yeah.
Jeremy Corbyn will make our taxes really high, so I'm not voting for him.
Oh, okay. So maybe Corbyn's going to make the taxes high, so maybe it's not worth the payoff.
Let's not get political.
But it's okay. This is Talkaoke.
Big argument.
No, so, 2 rules. People. We have 2 rules here at Talkaoke. No singing, no fighting. Okay, so let's keep it civilised, people. Alright, it's on. We're going to hear each other. We're going to talk to it, alright? Let's come here, my friend.
But the opposite, the equivalent to that is the Tories making taxes really low and then the NHS not being properly funded and things like that. And schools and police. All the public services.
So maybe at the moment the NHS, the education, the schools are all underfunded. If we get Jamie Corbyn in, he might solve this.
That's good coming from children who know nothing about paying for mortgages and things like that. Right? It's a bit different when we've all gone through a recession, right, and we've tried to keep a roof over our children's heads, right? But these lot won't know yet. Right, and then we've got to understand that it's Labour Party who put us in that position in the first place.
Okay. Big response.
My husband, I'll say no, it was a global recession that put us in that position. There was a global recession.
Okay. Whoa. First of all, do you know what? Okay, this is it, people. We're calling a time-out for a second, alright? Let's all take a deep breath. Let's all calm down. We're all friends here. We're at Deershed. We're here to put smiles on faces, alright? Not frowns. Yes, you can, my friend.
On Fortnite, on Fortnite, if you have like this something what they all call nude skins, they all make fun out of you. And when you have like when you buy other skins, they start calling you cool. And if you buy and you have to, and they're making you buy stuff.
But that links a little bit to what we're talking about, because actually, if parties are buying different ideas and targeting people, maybe they're trying to trick them.
Those game designers are putting a roof on their children's heads, and they're paying for their schooling and their clothing of that. So they have to make money. They have to charge the children for all these things so that they can look after their own children. That's how the system works.
Byproduct of capitalism, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so with this all this Labour stuff, okay, we should tax the richer, because the more middle class to poorer people, they're the ones getting taxed higher, which makes them homeless. So the Labour Party will make more homeless people, then they'll get refunded because the taxes, they'll just keep going like that.
The question is, do we think we should tax the rich people more money right now? Alright? Okay, we're going to come here, we're going to come over there, alright? By the way, just a friendly reminder, we have more seats. It's okay. Come sit down and relax.
So if you tax the rich people, then that's just making more, because the rich people work hard, some do, some don't, but it's not fair if you tax the rich people, because that's just giving the money that people have worked hard for to the people that sit on their arses.
So, maybe taxing the rich means that we're actually penalising people for working hard, alright? Okay, there's lots of people on the side. Feel free, take a break, come sit down and join in. I want to see. I'm not sure my mic will stretch that far, but it's okay. Now I promise I'll come over here. Anything to add? Any thoughts?
I think it's important to remember that the worldwide recession was directly a product of capitalism and the irresponsible actions of Wall Street and spending just ridiculous amounts of money on themselves and keeping money to themselves.
And also, to say what he said about how it was the Labour Party that are taxing middle class and working class people less than they're taxing rich people, that is not the fault of the Labour Party, it's the fault of the Tory government who are constantly cutting taxes for rich people and making loopholes for their mates.
Right, okay. So,
does the alternative to capitalism work?
So do we think the alternative to capitalism... Okay, we're going to come to Mikey first, then we're going to carry on.
I just don't. I mean, we always talk about capitalism, but there's lots. Whether we're taxing people or not, it's all a capitalist system. It's more about how you play capitalism, how you actually want to have capitalism. Because you could just tax everybody the same. You could tax the rich people more, or tax the poor people more. Any of those ways is capitalism, because it's still about people earning money and paying into a tax system.
Okay, all right. There's a lot of hands up. What we're going to do? We are going to come here first because we're waiting. Then we're going to come there. Then we're going to go back to the table.
All I want to say is I'm very impressed with some of these young guys here that have a very strong argument. I think it's fantastic that you speak, how you speak him. Well done.
Come just over here, yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask my little boy's opinion to all this because he's playing with slime. What do you think, Will, about capitalism?
Farting.
Well, you like to say you win some, you lose some, don't you? But that's what it is. Now, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come over here first of all.
Well, any other kind of form of society opposite to capitalism doesn't work. I mean, communism forced many people to kill each other on the streets and gain a taste for human flesh because the lines for bread were so long. Capitalism is the only thing that kind of works. Well, the basics of it is you work more, you get more. And sure, it's turned into a full society. When it works in practice, sure, there are differences, but the basic scheme of it is the only one that works.
Now, do you know what? I've realised we're all getting quite heated, and I'm actually looking around. I don't actually know a lot of people's names, so I think, do you know what? Let's take a pause. We're going to return to this conversation in a minute, but first of all, let's get a bit more acquainted with each other. Let's get everyone's names in the circle, all right? So we're going to start over here. What's your name?
Nelly.
Nelly.
Libby.
Libby.
Mikey.
Mikey.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Terrence.
Terrence.
Kian.
Kian. Paul. Paul.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Max.
Max.
Lucy.
Lucy.
And Paul.
Paul. Nice to meet you, Paul.
Even though it's Will, but I'm Lee.
Lee.
Liam.
Liam.
Brian.
Brian.
Gus.
Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan. Gus. Yes.
Joe.
I'm Will. This is Talkaoke. That's a bit better, guys. We all know each other a bit now. Gus.
I just want to say, you're going to spend your whole life being told that capitalism is basically where people are evil and they want to kill each other and where they're queuing up for bread. But like, if you talk about the fundamental level of capitalism is where you work hard and you get more for working hard, well then communism on a fundamental level is like the phrase sharing is caring. You're sharing with each other because you love other people, not because you want something back, not because you want something in return. It's because you sheer love for human life and other people, and you just want to just spread with one another.
Need a bit of love. No, we're going to come to the second pool. We're going to come just over here first. Whoa, we're there. I'm coming through the middle, just to here.
Basically, it's not communism that's failed. It's the way that the leaders have tried to pull it off.
Right. Okay. So maybe communism hasn't failed. It's just the people that are leading the communist front have failed on that level. Is that right? Yeah. Interesting point. Let's come just here. Yeah.
Okay, so communism really doesn't work because maybe someone. Yeah. Communism.
Hey. Remember, it's about talking and listening. All right. I want to hear this point. Let's go.
Okay, communism does not work because someone who's laying bricks has to take one brick at a time because it's so heavy. Then someone sitting at a till all day just passing pieces along get paid the same. So basically, it's really not fair. Maybe it is sharing, maybe it is, but maybe it's just you're working too hard and you're getting too less for it. Then you're working too less and getting too much for it, which is just not fair. It's just a bad system.
Maybe communism isn't an equal distribution of labour. Is that what we're saying? Libby wants to get in on this. What are you thinking, Libby?
What is capitalism?
Okay, so who wants to sum up capitalism for us in a sentence? Yes, my man.
So capitalism is where basically you work hard and then you get more and then you can pass the money through your family. Communism is basically where when someone gets something, everyone needs to share it, and socialism's trying to sort out like the poor, rich people, sort out the gap between rich people and poor people to put them on equal footing, kind of.
Does that make sense, Libby? So capitalism, a bit of a each for the all is what we're saying, and communism and everyone together.
We're going to say that capital is basically money, and it's about investing money in projects and getting a return on that money. So you pay people, they take a bit of the money, but then you get some spare money back that you invest in other projects and you grow businesses, and that's how the main economy of the world works. Communism is about, as Gus said, it's about sharing resources and not directly. And I guess in a way you're still getting that same return, but you're investing into rather than just your own business, you're investing into the whole country.
Maybe. All right. Now we've got lots of hands. We're going to come here first of all to Ryan.
When you said about communism not being good, it does work. It does.
We've got to hear Ryan's point out. Listening and all right, let's go.
In theory, it works.
Communism. It means that no one can say, "Ha, I'm better than you. You're terrible. You're worse than me."
They work for that. They work to say, "Ha, I'm better than you." They work for that.
Yeah, but with communism, no one can say that. Everyone is equal with communism.
Well, maybe someone can't be able to say "ha" because they work too hard to say it. Maybe they work too hard to get the money that they need. Maybe. Okay, so imagine someone working really hard and then getting 10p. Someone working now, literally just program a computer like that. Okay, they get 10p. It's not very fair, is it? So basically, So basically, people can say, "Ha, I'm better than you," because either they work harder, or their family worked harder, or they're just a bit smarter, and they've been able to know what to do with the money to make more money.
Interesting point. Now, there's a lot of hands around the circle, so we're going to Mikey, then we're going to over to you know, that's right. We're going to come over here then.
Well, why do parents ban you from video games? It's not fair. It's
so maybe in a communist
not
society,
fair.
but then maybe in a communist society, children and parents would be on the same level. Maybe.
Exactly.
I mean, what is this thing about work? Because will we actually need to work in the future? Will the whole thing about work and kind of defining yourself by work be gone when robots are doing all the work?
Oh, all right.
So this question about who works for what may become irrelevant in the future.
Is it going to become relevant? Are robots going to take over?
What's the point in having the stress of running a business if we all have the same?
Alright, so maybe, but like Mikey was saying, maybe if robots take over, then there isn't going to be that stress.
Just going back to what you said, so you're saying, oh, you know, capitalism, you work harder, you get more, but the reality of it, which you see now, is that you have big business owners doing a very little manual labour compared to the workers at the bottom who are earning barely anything, below minimum wage, on 0-hour contracts, while there's these big people at the top making massive profits while they're doing nowhere near as much work as the people at the bottom, and that's the reality of capitalism.
Okay, interesting. Now we've got to make it fair. We've got to make sure everyone's getting a voice in here, alright?
So capitalism is flawed because it can give people who have worked hard, they can give their children large amounts of stuff, and then the children barely have to work and rely on others. However, communism doesn't work either because everything is finite. Communism relies on equality. However, if everyone were to get the same thing, we'd just run out of like material objects. It would work in a utopian society where we have basically everything. However, capitalism is the only one that can seemingly work now.
So maybe, let's pause up. So maybe neither of them work, and actually somewhere in the middle between capitalism and communism, which is the ideal. Now, we're going to make sure everyone gets a voice. You've been waiting patiently. I want to go over to you, my man. Yeah.
Just to argue to your point earlier, communism isn't necessarily a money-based system. It's more based on what everyone gets.
So maybe it's more based, so it's not that everyone gets the same, it's more just making it like everyone's equal, is that right? Interesting. Now, we're going to come here, then we'll come over to yourself.
Well, if everyone's equal, there's always that one person that always wants to be on top. Then they're going to go back to the top from denying the rules, and they're not going to play by the rules, and they're going to get more, which is going to cause more argument. When capitalism, when you work harder, you get more. When you work less, you get less.
So maybe it's coming back to maybe having a little bit in the middle, a little bit equal. Now I'm going to come to yourself because you've been waiting for quite a while. Yes, my man.
Okay, so to answer to those two, so really everything is money because everything has a value. So say you were sharing bread is still money, it's just money in a different form. And also, the big business owners, say the owner of Amazon, he got that from the ground up. He worked hard for that business. Maybe he could have got like a £10 billion loan from his rich dad, or maybe his dad worked from the ground up, but it always has to start from something. Someone has to work hard to get to that point, because they can't just already be at that point. They have to work hard to get up there. Someone has to have worked hard to get there. So if they've all... So think about any business owner, anything is money, but you always have to work hard to get up to the highest of the money.
That's an interesting one. Now I'm going to swing around over here, I'm going to do a little swap. Yeah.
But what you fail to forget is that despite the fact that someone has had to work to get to the position, the people who are necessarily in power now, most of them, David Cameron for as a prime example, paid his way through private schools and through Eton and through Cambridge or Oxford. I think it was Oxford actually. But it's like he's had all of his life handed to him on a plate, apart from one moment.
His family worked it for him.
I know, yeah, but and yeah, his family worked it for him. Yeah, but he's from a privileged background. Why don't we have politicians who actually know what it is to live a life, know what it is to struggle, and know what it is to?
I'm going to throw that out. Do we have any politicians politicians in this country that have had to struggle, have had to go through poverty, and had to experience that?
Two things. So first of all, Dennis Skinner, and second of all, back to what you said about how people work to get to the top. Okay, but the reality of capitalism is not everyone can do that. You can only have a select few at the top, and in order to have those people at the top, you have to have thousands and millions of poor people. Okay, you can't have everyone at the top like that, even if they're working the same amount as those people do. It doesn't work.
Okay, like I say, right, let's get this all on the same way. So the minute, a lot of people have been saying capitalism work, communism work, a lot are saying both don't work. So where are we going to go from here?
I'm wondering because we've heard about the flaws of communism and capitalism, and there have been really good arguments for both. But can we think of something different, something new? Because to be honest, like when I first started doing Talkaoke in 1997, people were having the same argument. It's not moved on.
It's not.
So I mean, can we come up with a new system? And that
maybe this is where it happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think
in the making for
yeah.
Maybe this is where
this could be it. This could be it. Dear Shed 2018. Maybe this is where it happened.
All right, you saw it first over here, Dear Shed. We're going to solve this. All right, everyone sees this. So, what is the solution, guys? That's what I want to know. We've got to first of all introduce yourself. I didn't get your name before, mate.
I'm Oliver.
Oliver, lovely to meet Oliver. What's
Hi.
your thoughts?
Well, nothing will ever work, just because there will always be arguments between people, and nobody thinks the same as everybody. So there's always differences between people.
Okay, not quite the optimistic thought I was gonna go for, but it's a good point, mate. Maybe it's not gonna work, but maybe that's okay. A bit of trial and error to get through things. Let's come just here, yeah.
I agree with him in that nothing will ever work, but I think the main reason that, not because people argue, but it's because people are greedy and they want things for themselves and they want to make themselves. People have a human desire to have more money and get. They can't just stop once they've got enough money to survive and to suit themselves. They don't think, okay, now I'll help the little guy. They think, let's better myself. Let's get myself something on. Let's buy myself a PlayStation 4 and get.
That's a great point. Now I'm going to remind everyone at this stage, right? Talkaoke, although we have those two rules, is about two things. It's about getting your point across, but listening to other people's points as well. All right, we're here to listen, to learn, and to gather information from each other. Now, you guys have been waiting. I'm going to ask before I come over. Is this about Fortnite again?
Yeah, it will be.
It might be.
I wanted to pass it on to my friend Max. Why are parents allowed to swear and kids aren't?
Oh, okay. All right, this conversation's taken a turn. I just saw all the adults take a step backwards. We don't want to tackle this one. Let's answer that question, Max. Let's go for it. Why are adults allowed to swear and children not? Let's answer this. Let's talk about it.
Well, adults are allowed to swear and children are. It's just adults think it's rude for children to do the same thing as them because they're older and they've been in the world longer.
So maybe it's a do as I say, not do as I do situation. Yes, Will.
It's all a lie.
It's a what a lie?
It's all of it. Like the whole it's a choice, kids. You just have to say the words. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter.
So maybe it's about saying the word there, yeah.
Well, it depends what the word is, such as like the N-word that has history of being racist, and objectively some people can say it and some people can't. There are words that have history to them that you should not be able to say, and the fact that kids aren't allowed to swear is because they're seen as, well, sort of innocent. Adults have grown up and swears usually have anger in them, and you don't want kids to be angry, sort of.
Now, there's a lot of young people with opinions here, but I just want to know, there's a lot of adults staying quite quiet in the background. I want to see, what are your guys' thoughts? Why do we think that children aren't allowed to swear and adults are? I'm going to have a look around. Is there any adults that are brave? Mike is the one that's going to step up to the plate.
No, I think this point is very good. Is it Phil? No. Thomas, sorry. Thomas has got this point, and I think it's right, but when you swear, you're actually taking a big risk because you can offend somebody, maybe you want to offend somebody. It's a bit like using a weapon. So swearing is a dangerous weapon that you can maybe normally use in a bad way, but it's a bit like driving a car. Kids are not allowed to drive cars either.
You need to learn the responsibility.
You need to be able to swear if you're going to drive a car.
Oh, okay, so there should be an age limit on swearing, maybe. Whoa. We're going to come over here first of all.
In Germany, swearing is a way of showing your anger, so anyone's allowed to swear and is allowed to say anything that's not racist. So Why aren't we allowed to do it in every other country?
So maybe as long as it's not hate crime, then it's okay. We're going to come over to Oliver. What are you thinking?
I think that sometimes parents can use it to feel like they're more superior than children and use separate words just to feel like they have more power than the children.
So maybe it's something to have power over. Now, we're going to come over to Libby first of all. I'm getting tangled. I'm going to unwind myself. It's getting too heated up in here. We're going to come here, Libby.
But driving a car is dangerous, but swearing isn't, so...
Oh, well, Mikey seemed to disagree. He said it was a little bit like having a weapon, alright? So words have a lasting impact, perhaps. Anybody agree, disagree, any other thoughts? We're going to come just here.
But what's wrong with swearing? You're just saying a word. It's just a normal word.
Yeah, it's just a word. Why aren't we allowed to swear? Because it's just a word. It's not doing anything else.
No, we're going to come over here, yep.
Some people think they have a license to swear. Like some farmers, some farmer children go F this, F that. I'm gonna P word there.
I appreciate the censorship, I really do.
And then black people are allowed to say the N word. And then so then all these swear words, it's like having a car license, like having a gun license. You have a license for it. No, you don't. But some people think they do.
No, I'm not gonna lie, everyone was with bated breath there thinking what's he gonna say next. But I think it's a good point you raised. Now, where are we gonna come to next? We're gonna come to Sam, yeah. Is it Sam?
It's Arch.
Arch, I'm sorry! It's a great name though.
Oh, thanks. I think that people fail to understand the impact of words. Even if you're not even swearing, sometimes words can really upset people. And also, swear words, every single swear word has some form of meaning to it. In fact, most of them have several meanings. And I'd say it does. They're not just words, they're words that have history to them, they're words that have strong impacts on some people. And when you were saying about how black people are allowed to say the N-word, in some cultures it's a sign of infection, in some cultures it's used to, in some cultures it's trying to insult people, and it's like, you can't use it because you're always going to upset someone. And it's like, as Mikey said, it's like having a weapon. You can easily damage someone by swearing rather.
So do we all need to censorship what we say then at all times?
No, just exercise like a kind of a level of respect. You've always got to do that.
You've got excellent level of respect.
Always just swear. You can't swear, and swearing around kids, I think that's the whole premise of it. You don't swear around kids because they're innocent. Yeah. Really.
Interesting. Now, you thought I couldn't see you, but I could hear you disagreeing over here. What are your thoughts then? Share it with us.
Well, it's like, I don't see how kids sometimes are seen as innocent. Like, adults say that they can't swear because they're seen as innocent, but how are most kids seen as innocent when most of them are little terrors?
Oh, okay, so actually maybe they're a little bit more responsible than we think they are, and they should have that power.
Well, back to your point on the N-word, well, black people can say the N-word objectively because it was used as a derogatory term back in the days of slavery, and them using it is sort of saying we're past the slavery part now and we're stronger, we are adopting this word for our own. And that's why people have certain passes to say it, because it's showing that they are stronger of the history upon them.
How are people supposed to understand that?
You can't say that again, wait till you get the mic! That's what we need.
How are young people supposed to understand that though? It's just like, it's pot kettle black, isn't it? I mean, it's like, young people that don't know about the slavery thing anymore, it's a long time in the past, might not appreciate the fact that a black person can say it about themselves, but for us to say it, it's offensive.
So do we need an age rating on these words and swear words before young people understand?
YouTube doesn't have an age rating, and I think that's the unfortunate thing nowadays. Is kids go on YouTube and hear things.
Okay, I feel like I should hand you the mic and drop it, because actually that's just caused a massive storm around the circle. We're going to come to Liz first.
There is an age range, it's 18, and also I think parents should be responsible for what their kids see and hear.
Okay, so maybe parents should...
What you're supposed to do as a parent, stand over a child nowadays and watch every single thing they watch, right? Because you've got iPads, you've got iPhones, you've got everything, not just eyes, you've got any little tablet, you've got anybody that has a kid has a tablet, right? And nowadays they watch them. You've got YouTube, and it flicks on. All of a sudden, an advert comes on, and it swears, and that's what kids hear. So kids are innocent of anything nowadays. They hear.
So maybe the innocence of young people has been lost. Now we're going to come over here to some new faces. You got to give us your name before you speak, though, because I've not got your name quite yet.
Lauren.
Lauren, lovely to meet you. Lauren,
Right.
your thoughts?
YouTube does have an age restriction where they have like a kids YouTube, and if you go on settings, you can like block off what they see and like restrict different content.
See, we learn something new every day. There's like a child safety one.
Yeah, but when you do that, and then all of a sudden your kid becomes wise to get into normal YouTube, how do you stop that?
See, like I was saying, maybe there's a little bit of a terror. Like I was saying there, right there. We're gonna come. Where we're gonna come to next? We're gonna come to Nelly next because we've not heard from Nelly in a while. Whoa. Let's just make sure we can hear Nelly.
That on some like inappropriate videos, there's like a notification that comes up. It's like we need to know your age to see if you're suitable, and you have to sign in. So if you don't sign in, then you can't watch that video. So
okay, so some videos have a pre-warning, and then you have to sign in to watch them. Now, you guys have really started something here, and you're going to leave us with it. That's okay, though. I want to hear your final thoughts before you go.
It's good to talk.
It's good to talk. Thank you very much. Final thought.
I think you guys are brilliant what you're doing, and it's great to get young kids around the table talking like this. So keep
Fantastic.
it up. All the best.
Cheers,
Thank you.
my man.
Cheers.
Enjoy it. Paul, final thought.
Always remember there's black and white and shades of grey.
Brilliant. Guys, round of applause to everyone there. You've been absolutely fantastic. You get a final thought as well.
Fortnite's a good game.
Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. You've been brilliant. Where are we going to go to next?
I mean, should kids be allowed to swear in Fortnite? Because it's a virtual. They're allowed to kill people in Fortnite. So maybe in a virtual realm you should be allowed to swear. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. You should be allowed to swear in a virtual.
Or swear, maybe not swear at other players, but swear at the made-up players, the avatar. Yeah, exactly. Swear at artificial intelligence, because I'm always swearing at my computer.
Don't do as Mikey says, kids.
On the person who's left's thoughts, he said that you have to watch over them. But what if they're on the school bus in the morning? Because I don't go to secondary school yet, but my brother, we live an hour and 15 minutes away from when we need to go. And every Friday, my brother's friend, he brings his Wi-Fi hotspot so he can watch YouTube. And how are our parents supposed to protect us from that? Maybe they could strap a little camera or something, but that's not come yet. Maybe they'll be checking them. How would it stay in the wash? Would it explode?
There's so many questions that you've just posed there. Now, we're going to come round, but we've got a new face, and I want to make sure everyone's involved. What's your name?
Alicia.
Alicia, lovely to meet you. What's your thoughts?
I was gonna say that probably by when you're in high school you've probably already heard or seen all these things, so there's no point of looking over them because they're old enough to know it.
Right, so maybe they've already been exposed to it by the time they get to secondary school. We're gonna come to Liz next.
It's parents' choice if they want to give their kid a tablet and stuff like that. Like what they should expect what's gonna happen if.
So maybe if they give them those accessories and those means to look at the videos, then it's their fault for giving them in the first place. Will, we're going to come to you next.
Alright, so kind of moving away from, with that point, kids are going to at any point be exposed to kind of that language.
Yeah.
The key thing is how they then deal with that and move on to use the language itself.
Right,
so
okay.
So it doesn't really matter actually controlling what they watch. Because at some point they are going to be exposed to it, so you just kind of got to teach kids and.
So maybe what we're saying is it's an inevitability that they're going to see these things. So we shouldn't waste time trying to measure and control that they're going to see it, but more how they're going to deal with and handle when they do be exposed to these different videos and online sources. We're going to come over here. What's your name as well?
Scarlett.
Scarlett, lovely to meet you. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think especially in TV shows and stuff, to be included in what your friends talk about at school, a lot of TV shows you watch now have swearing. So parents have to accept that for you to stay in the loop with your friends, you have to watch those. They just have to teach you how to appropriately respond to that and not use the language.
Yeah, sort of agreeing with Will there. It's more how to handle this language that you're being exposed to. Yeah, we're going to come over here first. Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing, like all this online stuff, YouTube has made a whole system where even if something's inappropriate, they will make it so you can't earn money off these videos. And these YouTubers do this for a living most of the time. They're trying to earn as much as a living, so most of the swears and all that will be avoided because they're trying to make maximum profit. And the thing is, like, swears can easily just be covered up. But
so maybe if YouTubers are swearing, it's going to hinder their progress in their career.
YouTube's like got this program. It's trying to make everything as advertiser friendly as possible.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Well, that was some of the advice for the parents that maybe earlier. We're going to come to Archer next. Yes.
Can I go back to it because I've had my hand up for a while? I was going to go back to an old pint where someone said, "Who protects you from what?" I think it was him that said that.
Yeah.
From experience, you've got to learn to protect yourself because no one's going to help you. In the real world, you've got to protect yourself, and you've got to learn to look after yourself. I'm speaking with the glasses here, and I know what I'm on about. Right? Children need to learn how to like manage themselves and like. I can't think of the word.
It's becoming like a little bit of a real night Fortnite here, like every man for themselves kind of a situation by the sounds of it.
Okay, so someone said you can only like say it because no kids these days appreciate the history of things like the N-word and stuff. So are they saying if you have to research it and you have to be really knowledgeable about some sort of swear word so you can say it?
So, do you know what? I'm going to throw it out. I'm going to ask, alright? We've had a lot of thoughts from the young people here. Parents, I noticed we're staying quite quiet at the back there. What are our thoughts? Do you think actually we need to wait till young people have more knowledge before they're allowed to use these words? What are your thoughts? Any ideas? Oh, come forward! Take the mic!
Which words?
Swear words. We're talking about different words. So we've spoken about different swear words. We're talking about words that are sometimes used as hate crime, sometimes different words that are maybe being glorified on things like YouTube and TV channels. You got any ideas on that? No, that's all right. We're going to pass the mic in. Mikey's going to pass it the mic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I grew up in a family of left-leaning sort of communists. Really, they didn't believe in that swearing was a thing, so we could just swear as much as we wanted to at home. And it's only when I went to school that I had to curtail my language. So it was kind of like and it was a kind of double standard, but I think that's just the reality really. There's different places that you have to learn where you can and can't swear.
Do we think it's changed?
And it's a learning experience.
Do you think children before used to be able to swear a lot more than kids nowadays? Yeah. No, a lot of disagreement. We're going to pass the mic over there.
I worked in the theatre for many years and I teach drama now, and one of the things that I find when I'm finding a modern play for my young people to work on, there's more swearing than ever before from modern writers.
Right, okay.
And I do think it's a little bit of a shame because I think our vocabulary could be used more constructively, and I think hearing the words come out of a 14-year-old, 15-year-old's mouth sometimes a bit you think maybe they could use other words to describe it, but that is something that's happening more and more, I would say.
Maybe we need to go back and find alternative uses of words.
Swear words. Yeah, most definitely. Be a bit more creative, get the dictionary out, get the thesaurus,
Nice one, we're going to pass it on, thank you for that. Alright, we're going to come over here,
So I think one of the best ways on reducing swearing without knowing all the context behind it is having an adult figure punish you for saying these things. Then you'll just learn less and less to say these things. It's probably the most simple way of stopping people from saying it. Having someone of authority tell you off, so you don't need to learn it, you just know it's bad.
So maybe you need to start reprimanding young people for swearing, is that what we're saying? Yes, Will?
I think punishment's a bit strong, but just knowing that it isn't acceptable to be able to say it, and there are certain situations you shouldn't say it in, like in school maybe. Around my friends I'll swear a bit, but it doesn't really matter.
But do we have a definitive list of where you are allowed to swear and you're not allowed to swear? Is that
you just got to judge the situation?
But whose judgment does that come down to? Yours or everyone else's?
Just got to be wise about it.
No, interesting. I'm going to come to Mikey and then to Archer.
I mean, I think it's this thing you said a bit earlier on, Will, about that's you, Will. Well, anyway, doesn't matter.
Which Will?
This Will.
So many
This one, yeah. That it's kind of a little bit hypocritical that we don't. There's no rules, so it's just like you just got to feel your way through. But I just want to go. Oh, she's gone now. But the point about when they say on a TV program contains strong language, it should actually be contains weak language because it's not very imaginative to swear. And strong language would be not swearing. Strong language would be coming up with a more evocative way to express yourself.
I noticed that you're leading by example by using the word evocative there. Alright, now so we're going to come to Archer next.
You were saying earlier about reprimanding people who swear.
Yeah.
Now I completely agree. What if we introduce corporal punishment again? What if we reintroduce punishment in schools? Do you not think that not only would it deal with people swearing, but it would also deal with bad behaviour?
Well, let's throw it out. Do we think corporal punishment should be brought back into schools? Should teachers be allowed to hit their students?
You're saying it will deal with bad behaviour, but it'll bring back child abuse and stuff, won't it?
So maybe it'll perpetuate the child abuse that's going to go on. What are you thinking, Livy? Nelly? I'm getting confused.
If you hit the child, then there isn't going to be a lot of people in the school because of the way that the teachers have been treating the children. So the children will move school.
So maybe then it'll discourage young people to go into school if we bring back this sort of punishment. What are we thinking, Oliver? You're saying quite quiet over there. What are you thinking?
Well, if teachers were still to hit children, then I think nowadays children would retaliate and threaten to hit the teacher and in some cases hit the teacher.
Interesting.
Which would just cause more controversy.
Violence, yeah. More violence. Alright, what are we thinking, Leash, over here? Yeah.
It might be that the child gets used to it, so if they're at home and it happens at home, they won't report it because they'll just think it's normal.
Right, okay. So you think actually it might confuse young people that are being abused at home, or is that okay for them to get hit at home? What do you think?
I think it will confuse them and they won't know what to do because they think, it's just a normal thing.
Yeah, it might make it a little bit more confusing. Now we're going to come just here, yeah. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
2 words, carrying on. If they do it in school, they're going to go to their friends, and if their friends are mean to them, they're going to do it to them. Right, and then their friends will spread it to their friends, and then before you know it, the whole world's doing it to each other.
Right, okay, so actually if teachers start hitting their students again to sort of discourage them from certain types of behaviour, then they're just going to take those methods and use them on their friends in their own social circles. Yeah, I think it's an interesting point, Ryan.
If you brought back capital punishment in schools, would that mean it wouldn't be child abuse for a teacher to hit a child, but it would be child abuse for a parent to hit a child?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Alright, so we're posing a slightly different question now. Is it alright for teachers to hit the students to discipline them, but not parents?
I mean, I mean, this whole conversation, not wanting to bring it back to the dreaded F word, Fortnite.
Here we go again.
But maybe
pass out, Mikey.
I know we've gone past it, we've been through it, but what about instead of actual corporal punishment, it could be virtual corporal punishment, whereas if you do something wrong, you get finished off in Fortnite, you get taken out in Fortnite, or some kind of virtual corporal punishment. That way, the teachers will feel better because they've taken it out on the kids, and the parents will feel better.
It's the teachers that are going to play the young people.
No, the teachers are just they're gonna have a super cheat button and be able to just kill anybody in Fortnite if they do something wrong. You're out, you're gone, you're over, you're toast. Well, if you do something wrong at school, you're out of Fortnite.
Let's see what we think. We're going to come over here first of all. Yeah.
Well, you can just use your friends' accounts or devices. There's actually not a realistic way to stop younger children playing on internet games and things now because there's so much access everywhere. And also, what if the teachers really invested in Fortnite and then they can just kill everyone and not just students?
Oh, okay. So actually, maybe it's the teachers that want to take it over. Yeah, we're going to go over here.
Well, normal capital punishment, in my opinion, would be corporal, whatever. I don't know.
Capital's just something slightly different, that's all.
Well, you killed them.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, capital punishment for swearing might be a little bit extreme.
No, virtual capital punishment. You actually get killed in Fortnite. It's capital punishment.
Okay, well, we're bringing it over. Oh, you're going, Liz! Give us a final thought before you go. You thought you could sneak away. I'll see you. Give us a final thought.
Don't say get a life again.
What's your final thought? It can be if you want to be. What's your final thought?
I don't have one.
You don't have one? That's alright. Enjoy the rest of your day then. Thanks for coming over. Where are we going to come to next? We're going to come to Ryan.
So you can play Fortnite on Apple, Android, PS, Xbox and PC. So how would they do that? Would they spend all their money on different types of devices?
I think that's an interesting point right now. Before we do it, Will and Archer just sort of coordinated, did a bit of a pincer movement on me, both going around the side. Can I get a final thought from both of you before you go? Because you've had some great comments so far. Archer, you up first, and we're going to come to you for Will for a final thought. Final thought, mate.
Communism's the only proper way forward. I think that we should overthrow the monarchy and the government, and that we should also reintroduce corporal and capital punishment.
Interesting stuff, thank you. Will?
Don't let your parents shape exactly what you think. Have some free thinking thoughts, because it's what you need to do.
Guys, thank you for your time. Been great. Round of applause for Will and Archer there. You've been absolutely brilliant. Guys, alright, what do you want to do? Should we carry on down this road of talking about young people? Do you want to change it up? What do you want to do? Alright, well, what do you want to talk about then? Where do you want to go with this? This is your talk show. What was that? You're alright. Yeah, I mean, we can swap up if you want. I mean, I'm happy to go for a little bit and then we can get a drink and sort of swap it up a bit, I think, yeah? Alright, cool stuff. Yeah, let's get a drink. Yeah, well, I'm easy. Whatever you fancy, Mikey. Yeah, all right, let's go with that. Well, Mikey sorts that. Where do you want to take this, guys? What do you want to talk about? Yeah, pal. We haven't heard from you at the back yet. What's your name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. What do you want to talk about, Gabriel? It's fair out to you, my friend.
Okay, well. Okay, well. How come parents don't want their kids to drink beer, but then they just drink beer instead? Like, then that's just showing them to drink beer because they think it's all right.
Why is it right for adults to drink beer, but they don't want their kids to drink beer? Shouldn't they lead by example? Is that what we're saying, Gabriel? Let's throw it out. Does anyone know the answer to that? Yes. Pardon?
I don't have any kids, so I can go and get beer. But where's the nearest bar?
Just down there on the right. Oliver, what are your thoughts?
Well, in France, they can drink at any age, and they're actually one of the least alcoholic countries in the world. And in places like England, there's an age limit, so you can only buy alcohol 18, is it, or 21?
What, in England? Yeah. 18 in England, yeah.
21 in America. Yeah, and this leads to us being very alcoholic, and because of that, when we do get to 18, we like to go out clubbing and partying, and this leads to us getting highly drunk and alcoholic. While as in France, they don't go out clubbing because they're just used to it.
I think that's an interesting point. So you reckon introducing alcohol earlier in sort of smaller measurements might stop young people going so sort of crazy when they get to 18 and wanting to consume so much alcohol? But adults in the circle, what do we think? Do we agree with this? What are our thoughts around this? What's your name, friend? I didn't catch your name.
Patsy.
Patsy, lovely to meet you.
Hi.
Patsy, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Oliver. In France, it's more a family thing. You sit down and have a meal. You have a little bit of alcohol, but you have it with a meal. You don't generally go out drinking, and I think it's a problem in the UK that people go out specifically to get drunk.
Interesting.
Not just to go out socially, have a few drinks. Because people go out to get drunk and off their faces.
I think that's an interesting point, Patsy.
A shame. I don't know why it's different in the UK to like France and Spain. I don't specifically go out to get drunk. I go out socially with my friends.
But maybe, I think that's an interesting point though, maybe. No, that's right, maybe it's something that can get miscommunicated sometimes, that for adults it is a social thing, but young people just see alcohol being consumed and think that's what adults are going out for. Maybe, is that something that young people agree with? Do you just see adults drinking alcohol and think they just want to get drunk?
No, like, I know they're like going out with their friends and stuff, and I don't really know, like,
that's alright.
It's like two ways, like, they go out with their friends but then get really pissed. But then if we go out with our friends, we don't get pissed, you know what I mean?
Oh, people are calling it out, aren't they? Right, yeah. What are we thinking, Leash?
Well, like, because alcohol can make you develop liver problems, introducing it at a young age is like it's going to affect the child older in life, and alcohol kills many people.
Okay, so maybe having alcohol earlier might have some sort of health implications later on in life, perhaps. Interesting. We're going to come over here. Yes, ma'am.
So I think the main reason that kids want to drink alcohol is because of the temptation. It's something seen as like, well, as a law against it, so they just think, hey, how about we try? Yeah, I think it's just the sheer temptation of wanting to break the rules, and the fact that it actually alters your behaviour and the way you act. It'll make you think, well, this is kind of life-changing, they want to try and experience it, I guess.
Do you think it's a culmination of things? Because it's an illicit activity that actually makes young people want to partake more in it? Interesting stuff. Are you going as well? Leave us with a final thought before you go, my friend. You've been great.
I just think that kids shouldn't drink. Brilliant. And adults shouldn't think that letting their kids borrow a bottle of gin from their cupboard is okay.
Alright, well, round of applause, you've been fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Alright, we've got lots of thoughts. We're going to go over to you, Olivia. What are you thinking?
That we never change subject.
Well, we've changed quite a bit. We've gone from talking about swearing through to alcohol. We're on alcohol now, and talking of alcohol. We did capitalism, yeah? We talk about Fortnite. It started on Fortnite, and everyone come out anywhere.
Subject. Can we change?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to you guys, the people.
Just say one thing about communism is the beer's always really cheap. This was $9.60 for these two.
I know.
But in the communist society, that would be like, it'll be nothing, basically.
Be free. Well, I'll tell you what. A couple of people are saying change subject. What we'll do? Well, we'll have a quick thing. I think. Do you want to do a little swapsy Mikey before we carry on to the next part? Seems like quite a nice, natural bit to transition. Yeah. What I'm going to do? Yeah, of course you can. I can pass the mic to you now.
So, alcohol's actually more dangerous for children. So one of the reasons why you shouldn't drink alcohol as a child is that actually it's more poisonous and it damages your liver more as a child.
Right.
So the rules are there, I'm sorry, to protect your livers.
Okay, so it's there, like we were saying before, like Leash was saying, it's going to have more health implications, so it's there to actually protect your livers, to protect it. So maybe adults know a little bit more about that.
It could actually lead to some good health benefits for children. Like, it could lead to us evolving so that as a child we'd still be able to drink alcohol.